Welcome back to the Curios Cast, live from the Peak District. This week we're going to be talking about the Shrovetide Football Game in Ashbourne that we're currently at.
Welcome to the van, Thomas.
Thanks, Rob. It's lovely.
Even though we've been staying here for 2 days now.
Yeah, it's been a good little trip so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we cast your minds back to maybe 3 months ago. We went out to Ottery St Mary to film the tar barrel rolling event.
It would have been November the 5th, wasn't it? I guess
November the 5th. It was on Bonfire Night, and this is on Shrove Tuesday, Pancake Day. I don't think that's a worldwide event, is that? That's just a UK thing, I think.
It's a Catholic thing, innit, I suppose, so it might be.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, anyway, most people probably know.
Yeah.
But there's a Tuesday, usually in February, this year, March, where everyone in the UK makes pancakes.
For some reason.
Yeah. But in this town here called Ashbourne in Derbyshire, they have a completely different tradition, and that's called the Shrovetide Football Game. It's been mental so far. It's
been ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's currently Wednesday. We've already filmed the Tuesday day, and we're sort of waiting for Wednesday kickoff now.
Yeah. 2 p.m. kickoff. So we got there yesterday. We came up here Monday night, and then Tuesday morning we went into town and sort of scoped it out, and we managed to find that was the Downards goal, wasn't it?
Downards goal. We found it Downards. So I guess we should explain what it is.
That's true.
The Ashbourne Shrovetide football is not a traditional football game. There's no limit on the amount of players. There's no rules. The only rule that was ever written, apparently, was don't kill anyone.
Yeah.
So
this bloke in the pub explained that to us last night as well.
Yeah. You know the rules.
You know the rules, right? I was like, I think so. He was like, don't kill anyone.
Yeah, no murder.
Yeah.
But
cheers.
Yeah, and the goals are not normal football goals. It's no like post. The goals are these big stones, like millstones that are down by the river, and you got to tap the ball on that 3 times to score.
It seems to be like a millstone, kind of like mounted in
just a big bit of rock.
Yeah, like a brick plaque thing that they've kind of made.
And the 2 goals are 3 miles apart. So you've got the centre of town, centre of Ashbourne, which is where kickoff is. And then on a 1.5 miles one way, 1.5 miles the other way down the river are the 2 goals, the Uppards and the Downards goals.
Uppards.
Yeah. I'll put some footage like on the side of the screen and stuff just to sort of visualise what we're talking about.
Yeah.
In like with the goals. But it's absolute mayhem.
Yeah, it's bedlam.
Yeah, we didn't really know what to expect. I guess saw a couple videos of people pushing each other about, but they have I guess like a little. Everyone gathers in this car park, which is where the kickoff is, and it's called Turning Up, and a different person is sort of nominated to do the Turning Up every year.
Yeah, it's like a sort of local dignitary of some kind, isn't it? And I think
the
guy this year, we overheard some guy giving a tour when we was walking about, and he was saying it's like a guy that does a lot of work for the community, and he has a Jeep that he loves or something. He was going on.
Well, he deserves it.
Yeah, he's got this big American Jeep, and he drives around town in it, but he like always collects for the Poppy Appeal or something. So he's like, I don't know if it was 2 different people that turned up.
I think it was.
He seemed different, didn't he?
Yeah, both just
much older boy the second time.
Old men.
Yeah.
But they throw the ball they're on like an elevated platform. They throw the ball into the crowd, and that's when the mayhem starts. We got pretty close into the middle. There's some good footage of me with the GoPro, sort of sticking my head in and getting pushed about. Heave, yeah. And it's essentially like a rugby scrum, but there's about 50, 60 people on each team.
Yeah, the name football is pretty loose, isn't it? You've got no chance of kicking that. You're allowed to. I mean, you're allowed to do anything other than murder. But there was no way. Like, it was mostly people just holding it, wasn't it? Every now and then, like, you see it, like it was a proper rarity. You'd see the ball fly in the air and it'd be like, whoa! And it was a proper big event, and everyone would go legging it. It's like, it's broke away for like a minute.
Yeah. And the play area is anywhere.
Yeah.
The ball can go anywhere.
Yeah. They said a couple of things, didn't they? Like
they said like don't go in like the doctors fire station, the hospital,
the memorial garden,
like the cemetery and the churchyard and stuff.
Like, if you're local, you know that though. If you're local,
there's a big thing about like this is a local game for locals, and basically telling us, townies to sort of get lost,
respect
it, which we did, and a lot of people were like, you could see who were there just as spectators, because everyone who's getting real involved is usually wearing like a rugby jersey or something,
and then like, we did accidentally, like you say, you got caught up in a bit just like with the filming, and then. There was the point yesterday where I just got accidentally, we were just like walking out, and we'll get to that in a bit, I guess. But yeah, he accidentally like squeezed up against the wall. I wonder if anyone like thought about that afterwards. Like, 'cause they were definitely like looking at me. I see like an eye where he looked at me like, as in like, you ain't supposed to be here, right? And I'm just like squeezed against the wall, like right next to the ball. Like, oh shit.
There was a point where I was stuck in the crowd, and I was quite near the middle, and everyone there's about 5 or 6 rows of people behind me just pushing on me, so I have no choice just to join in with the pushing. I'm standing there with my GoPro like, and I there was a little gap, and I thought, this is my chance to get out. I started getting out, and then I can't remember if it was the upwards or downwards. I don't even know what side I was on, but they were like, "Come on, downwards, push!" And I was like, "I'm not meant to be here." I just kind of like wiggled my way out.
I see like one bloke when I was in the middle of it, who was like clearly not meant to be there, and they were like, let him out, and he was like, he looked a bit like shit. Didn't mean for this.
But how long was it for the first goal? I think
it was about, so kickoff was 2, wasn't it? And it was good. It was about 5:30 they scored, wasn't it? So
so it took about 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a really, really long time, but when you think about how far it is to the goal. So it's 1.5 miles, and it's 1.5 miles not just of road and pathways. They go through the car park, through like just a regular park, like just a big field, like a rugby field.
Yeah.
Then it went down into the river. It went in and out the river quite a few times.
Loads of river action, wasn't there?
And then it was just going through farmland.
Yeah.
And it was so muddy. It was so marshy.
Oh, it's fucking ridiculous. And like there was so many people like playing and also watching that like we walked ahead a couple of times, didn't we? And it was like you can sort of get it was like a bit muddy, but not outrageous.
Yeah.
And then about 30 minutes later, we walked back and it was just like a fucking sty.
Yeah,
like,
the ground was
just
been
people
fucking,
just trod it over,
like,
and it was
just fucking.
I imagine it's
out.
double mad today by the end, especially if they ended up back there.
Yeah, and the weather was pretty good yesterday.
Yeah, it was dry.
Today it's pissing down with rain.
Yeah. Really looking forward to getting back out there.
Yeah, but yeah, they made it so the Upwards scored the first goal. They, after about 3.5 hours, pushed all the way down to the end. And yeah, it was just mad. Like it was hard enough for us to make our way through the fields.
Yeah,
you got to climb over barbed wire fences. Yeah. We're sort of breaking through bushes.
Yeah, I wonder which way they went, because we didn't quite catch that, did we? Because we basically what happened.
I think they went through the river.
They must have gone up the river. Yeah, because we missed how they actually made some of the progress, because we've been out there for hours, and a lot of it, to be honest, is you kind of just stood around, and you just stood around because they're just not really moving.
Yeah, it can be half an hour and the ball doesn't move.
Yeah,
like it's just a big group of people all pushing one way, they're pushing the other way. It's a stalemate, and the ball's just in the middle. You can't see the ball. You never see the ball.
It's just
in amongst this big crowd.
Yeah,
and you're just kind of standing there like, well, I kind of want something exciting to happen.
Yeah, or I want some food and a beer.
Yeah,
which is what we did. So we broke off and went back for a food and a beer, and then like, we'll come back and we'll catch up to it. We're like, it seems unlikely they're going to have made progress towards the goal, but they actually got a lot further than we thought, didn't we? But also, I feel like the goal was further away than we also thought.
Yeah,
and we had to walk, because we found the first goal and the first goal. We found the Downers goal in the morning, but we didn't find the Upwards goal because it was through the fields and that. So we thought, we'll just find it when we find it.
Yeah,
and then we walked all these people, and that's when we was going over the barbed wire, was doing all this shit, jumping fences, like, and then there was like the river kind of wound its way around, didn't it? And we had to like,
it was a weird
points. Loads of people just jump in the river and things. I don't want to I don't want to go through the river.
Yeah,
they obviously all just bollocks through the river and they're like boots and that. And eventually we saw this older couple that knew where the goal was, and we just followed them. We were like, maybe we should just head for the goal and kind of like face them off and then just wait around and see what they got there. But they were still quite far away, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then
it's hard to tell.
Yeah. So we thought, so we got there and we thought we'll do a little bit, we'll do a little bit of filming there. There was already quite a lot of people there. And then, well, let's just pitch up by the river. I thought, fuck it. Like, by the time we walk back, you can't be able to go through that mud again. Like, we're best off just getting a good position here and try and like see the goal. But we thought like we could be an hour, we could be 2 hours, like who fucking knows. But then it was like 10 minutes, wasn't it? It was like 10 minutes later, if that. Yeah. Suddenly we're like, you hear this, whoa, and then they come running through and jumping into the thing and they're there fucking scoring a goal.
Yeah. I guess I just realised we haven't really explained upwards and downwards either.
Oh, right, yeah, so, we just keep banging on about that.
Yeah, so like we said, you've got the 2 goals 3 miles away from each other and they're on either side of the river, basically. So the river that goes through this town of Ashbourne, you follow it to the west and you've got the Upwards goal, and then you've got the Downwards goal, you go all the way to the right, to the east. And the way that how you know if you're an upward or a downward is whether you were born on the north or the south of this river.
Yeah.
So if you were born above the river, then you're an upward, and then if you're born south, you're a downward. And that's how your team's decided. You don't get a say in the matter. So
technically, we should be downwards.
Downwards, yeah. Because we're born 300 miles south of the Henmore Brook, the name of the little river, yeah. Nice. So yeah, the upwards and the downwards. Upwards got the first goal.
Yeah.
And we wasn't sure if the game was going to continue because the rules state that it's 6 p.m. is the cutoff, but we didn't know that at the time.
Yeah, I'd read 5:30. I'd read 5:30.
Yeah, roughly like sundown. If someone scores before that cutoff, they take the ball all the way back to the beginning, or they start with a new ball. But everyone goes back to the beginning and they start again, and it goes on till 10 p.m. But apparently till midnight it can go on till.
Yeah.
But if the goal is scored after this cutoff time, then they end the game there. It was just before the cut-off time. It was about 5:30 they scored.
Yeah, it's like 5:36, I think, according to the Derbyshire.
Yeah.
Times,
the live
the
update.
Derbyshire Herald.
Yeah. And so we trekked all the way back and sort of waited around for a bit. It seems like everyone sort of goes to the pub, has a quick pint, collects their forks, and then comes back to the kickoff spot and... they turn up again for round 2.
The weird thing was, though, like, when it didn't seem... We were expecting it like a big ruckus in the river, but it was almost like it was uncontested. It was almost like the actual physical goaling part was a bit ceremonial.
Yeah, I think once you've made it
to a certain point, they probably go, game, Like,
once you've made it a mile and a half that way, and you're pretty much at the goal, I think it's just a done thing. They let you score.
Or whether they just got a bit of a breakaway, and once they broke, they all sort of went, you've got
ain't going to happen. Like, if there's only like 10 of you against like 50.
Yeah.
Because, there was a huge amount of people just jumping in the river.
Yeah.
Because you have to get in the river to score a goal.
Yeah.
So like this stone that they tap the ball on is on the riverbank, but facing into the river. So you need to get in the river and reach up and tap the ball 3 times on this millstone to score the goal.
It's almost like wrestling, wasn't it? Because it's like a 3 count.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Everyone was loving it.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, I'm really glad we made that decision to go ahead, go to the goal and cut them off.
Oh, yeah, it worked out, didn't it? Yeah.
Because obviously we had the choice of either staying with the group and trying to film that, but it would have been like trekking through ankle deep mud and through the river. It was a bit of madness. But and then it started getting dark. They kicked off, or they turned up for the second time.
Turn up.
And it was a bit mad because they lost the ball.
Yeah, it was super weird. No idea what happened, wasn't it? We were just like, so we're in that town centre bit, and it's all, like I say, it turns up, and then everyone's like, the scrum sort of thing's happening again, and it started to push. Seemed like the Downers were getting the upper hand this time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And there was hopefully we can drop in the audio of that woman. I kept hearing her saying, "Come on, Downers!" I'm doing like an Essex accent, just like, but that's obviously not what she sounded like. It was a Derbyshire accent. Just like, let's get them down through these streets. Don't want to get through them. Keep it out of them stinking fields.
Yeah.
Probably not a Derbyshire accent.
No. And because the Downards goal, you can get all the way there just by following a road.
Yeah.
And that's the way we went there on the first day, just to scope it out.
Yeah.
But then there is also a way through a field.
There is a way through a field, which
not as boggy and muddy.
Well, it wasn't when we walked there. It might have been by the time they all trunkled through it.
Yeah.
I wonder what they do. I wonder if they tried pushing through the field by the time it was night, or they just bollocks down the fucking A road.
Maybe. Because this is the thing. So the ball went missing. Me and Rob had split up to film like different bits, and no one really can see the ball, but you know where it is because it's in the middle of the crowd. So everyone's just pushing the crowd, and then suddenly everyone went, "Where's the ball?"
Yeah.
And everyone's going, "I don't know where the ball is. Like, can't find it." No one knew where the ball was, and everyone splits up. Bunch of people go run in one direction.
It's chaos,
bunch of people go run in another direction.
Yeah, I start running after one people up the street, like up around this other side.
So we chased different groups of people.
Yeah.
No one found the ball. There was rumours that it was on its way to the Downards goal.
Yeah, that's what everyone seemed to think, wasn't it? It seemed like the general, well, at least everyone, because we was all walking that way too. Maybe, obviously, somewhere else must have known what was going on. But yeah, we walked pretty much all the way back to the Downards goal.
Yeah.
Down to the Downards goal, and then people were like, as we kept getting there, it was like thinning out, wasn't it? And there were more and more people like, what is going on? Maybe it's not down there. And you see a few lads in jerseys, they start jogging. I've heard it's by M&S.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, fuck, And we get to the point of like this roundabout where it's like about another half a mile down, and we were just like, I don't think it's there, is it? We were like, should we head it off? We're like, fuck it. And we're fucking knackered. Let's just walk back, man. Like, fuck it. Getting dark soon anyway. Well, it was dark then, wasn't it? It was just fully dark. But it was like, if it ends up down there, it would be dark.
And obviously it's so hard to film in the darkness. It's it's frowned upon to shine the light in people's face.
Yeah, we heard from a local, if you have your big like fucking thingy, like, we did see a couple of guys out when it filmed, and I was thinking, mate, you don't know the local.
Disrespect.
Yeah, disrespect, man. Because apparently, like, could shine an unfair advantage on one team over the other. We walked back, and then by the time we got pretty much exactly where we started, we heard like this rah, and shouting out. We're like, what? And then there it fucking was. It was kicking off in the town, down the ball, and it was like, obviously we weren't the only ones who had that discovery, was it? It was loads of people clearly walking away that also went, oh, the ball.
Yeah. And so we filmed a little bit again, but it was so dark. Sun's gone down. We could see because of street lighting, but the ball started making its way towards the Downards goal, which is, again, just through these fields.
The Upwards goal, you mean?
The Upwards goal, yeah. Which is just fields and farmland, and there's no light, so I don't know how they would make it through that, because it's pitch black.
It's got to be crazy,
Like we said, you're going over fences, through bushes, in the river, and it's pitch dark. Like,
and there's
zero light.
And it's new moon at the minute.
Oh, okay.
Hype to Gina for that information. Which means that there is no moon.
No moon, yeah.
So it's fucking pitch black. There's not even the moonlight. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
That's,
double hard.
Mm. But so we made our way back to the van, and we had a chili. Rob cooked a 2-bean chili, was it?
It was a 2-bean chili. It was going to be a 3-bean chili, but I was sans 1 tin of beans. So yeah.
And we checked the live updates, and turns out the Downers had scored a goal, so it's 1-1 as it stands.
But apparently it was like right at the end of play, which we don't know whether that means 10 or that means midnight. But surely also, by the time they scored a goal, whatever time that was, they went, oh, well, that's the end of play, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's always going to be towards the end of play.
Yeah. So, it's 1-1 as it stands, and we're going into Wednesday hoping that it goes towards the Downards goal, because it's not through the muddy fields then, and we don't have to walk through the mud.
Yeah, and you might have seen some of the... did you put it on Instagram? Or
I will do.
You will do, yeah. Some of the Instagram stuff of Tom's well-prepared footwear.
Yeah.
Towny Tom.
I guess I'll put that on the screen as well. I mean, they were my muddy trainers. They're the trainers that I am fine getting muddy, doing a gardening with.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're good at being...
Yeah, they're flat soles, and like they're not waterproof in the slightest. So I got trench foot. Like my shoes and my socks and my feet were just wet and muddy.
Yeah. So we might head into
part of the game, isn't it?
As our friend, one of my mates who lives in the Peak District, came and met us last night. Shout out Coda Glenn. I don't know. I'm trying to give him like a moniker, like most of our names are.
I don't know.
Coding.
Bowser.
Yeah, Bowser.
Yeah.
And he obviously pointed out that we're in like fucking hiking, mountaineering countries, and there's lots of hiking shops, etc. So
yeah,
might explore one of those.
Huge.
Trouble is, like, wet feet. It's just so it makes you so miserable, doesn't it? Like,
yeah, I was.
It's a real downer, yeah. And your feet are cold. It's a real morale sucker, I think. Same as being hungry. I said it yesterday, wasn't it? I was getting a bit sad, is what I said. Like, hangry, but not. I wasn't angry. I was just sad.
Yeah,
like,
hungry, sad. Yeah.
Fucking hell, man. This is like, it's fucking shit.
Yeah. But I'll also, so we've parked up where there's meant to be a beautiful view.
Yeah, that was the plan. Over this shot.
Like up the Peak District. I don't know. We're looking down on Bakewell, I think.
I think so. Yeah, I guess so. Something like that. Anyway, the valleys around Bakewell.
Yeah, lovely bit of British countryside.
Yeah, proper. What they say, God's back garden.
Yeah, and yesterday it was such a clear day, not a cloud in the sky.
I bet it was beautiful.
Sun was out. I was actually walking around in a t-shirt, and it was nice and sunny. And in March now, 1st of March.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's March now. We didn't pinch punch 1st of March.
No, we didn't.
But
and we didn't have pancakes.
No, but it was a lovely day, and we thought, we'll park up here. And our plan was for this podcast, we were gonna maybe sit on some camping chairs outside the van, and our backdrop would be the beautiful Derbyshire countryside.
Lovely.
And we woke up and looked out the window, and it's just fog.
It's just
almost feel like the windows have been painted grey or something. Like you can't see.
I did that thing. It happens a lot in the van where I'm like, is it the condensation or is it foggy or is it both? And like wiped condensation, I was like, nah, it's just pure foggy.
Yeah.
Like, that's made no difference.
Yeah, but we're in a nice location.
Oh, it's still nice. Dead quiet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't like
dead quiet.
Like we're in a studio.
Yeah.
It's like it's mad to us. To some people listening, they'll probably be like if you do live in the country, but like, what are you fucking on about? But where we just like both live in towns, and always have done. When you come at something like this, and you just like, it's like a break for the ears. You just sit there, and it's like, it's weird. I remember the first time I came up here, it was just like, or anywhere like this, it's just like, why does it feel weird? And it's I can't hear the road. You can always hear the road, can't you? Like, something to do with the valleys, it must be as well, and the grass kind of dampens it. That even if there is a road, you can't hear it.
It's like when it snows, things are always quieter when it's
always quiet.
Snowy. Like even if you live in a town or a city, when it snows, you go outside and it's quiet.
It's like peace. Yeah. I composed a haiku about that once.
Oh yeah, go on.
I don't remember it.
You don't remember it?
Yeah. That's I think I've mentioned that before in front of Lawford, obviously. Just,
But yeah, it's a good game. Oh, Shrovetide football.
Yeah, proper. Like, definitely, I don't know, it was different to the tar barrel thing, wasn't it? As we said before, because it was a competition. So the tar barrel thing is like, they're in it. There's no competition element whatsoever. It's like a camaraderie sort of showcase almost, isn't it, really? Whereas this is very much a fucking fight. Like,
and some
we saw a few little fisticuffs, didn't we? There was one bit. But like not really, or like it might have got in later on. But I did hear one bloke say, like, when they were talking about the turning up again for the second match, and I asked him, like, when does it go on till? I was like, does it end at like 10? And he went 10, more like midnight sometime. And he was like, and he went, he's like, the last time it went on till midnight. He was like, got a few scraps going on there. And I was like, some tasty ones. Right, I bet when you're tired and you're fucking aggy and you're cold, it must be fucking cold. Especially like a lot of years as well. It's like, well, more like today, and also like snowing and shit.
Yeah.
There's some footage of running around snow for us. Man, it must be fucking horrible. And by the time it gets to like 10 o'clock at night, and you're not like, I mean, if you are doing physical shit to make you warm all that time, then you must be absolutely obliterated by that time. And if you're not, then you're cold, because you stood around for a bit. So you're just fucking like cramping up and getting, the tensions must definitely fly high. Maybe you've had a beer in the break as well. You maybe smashed 2 back.
We were knackered just walking around following it and filming it.
Yeah, for like, pricks, really. We were like, I'm fucking knackered. We're like, oh, imagine we've just been walking around.
Yeah, and we had walked, to be fair, we might have walked a further distance than those guys because we walked back and forth and back and forth.
True.
So we might have covered more ground, but obviously we weren't pushing and having fights
running around.
and getting in the river and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, poor
Yeah,
us.
we done a lot of. It was. I can't remember what I said. 14 kilometers or something. I think we. No, it was more than that.
It was 25,000 steps or something. I don't know what that.
Yeah, I think it's 29,000 steps.
Yeah, I don't know what that equates to.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you do walk about, don't you? Yeah, you cover some ground.
Yeah. Hopefully not so much walking.
Yeah.
this time.
Well, as long as it's just through the town, I'll be much happier.
Yeah.
That fucking feel was like this is not going to visit. Like.
Yeah.
Apparently, didn't we hear someone say that it's sort of? Oh no, because I thought someone said that it was easier for the downwards to score. Because just physically moving in a downward direction as gravity takes you seems easier.
Yeah, that's what they said. Because they said that one of the goals is like uphill and one of the goals is downhill. But I don't think that's true.
Well, the downwards is kind of downhill, isn't it? Really, if you think about it, it's sort of.
Yeah, but the upwards wasn't uphill.
It wasn't really uphill. It was just flat. Yeah, true. Yeah, but I mean that does seem like harder work to get it through those fields.
Yeah, it must be. It goes through the river. Like, is that tradition? I guess.
That's just yeah.
Just so that we haven't really spoke about the history of the game either.
Oh yeah.
They don't know exactly how old this game is because the records were like there was a big fire apparently in Ashbourne years in couple hundred years ago or something. So a lot of the records were destroyed. Yeah,
when did the records go back to like 18 something, didn't they?
So I think so a lot of the records go back to obviously after the fire, which is somewhere in the 1800s. But they do have a ball that like survived the fire or wasn't in the fire, which has like the date inscribed on it, and it was 1667. So they know it's at least, what's that make it, 450 years?
Yeah, explaining why the ball survived as well. It's not like a football like you would see now, like a leather thing or a pigskin thing that would have been. It's like,
I don't know what the exterior is.
Yeah, I don't know what the exterior. Maybe it is leather, but then it's sort of it's filled with cork, so it floats in the river intentionally.
I think I overheard someone say the cork was from Portugal, but I don't know if I just completely made that up. Like, why would that be a thing?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard that.
Maybe. Maybe all cork is from Portugal. Something comes from Cork in Ireland.
I don't even know what cork is.
I don't even know what cork is.
Yeah, what's cork made of?
Yeah,
cork.
Yeah. And then they paint it, don't they? So they sort of like get a surface over it, and it's painted. And then we heard people talk about how it's painted with the guy that's turning up. He like they'll decide what's painted. I don't know, but they physically paint it or they just dictate what gets painted on it. So it'd be all stuff that means a lot to them. Right. So that's what the guy was saying. Like he'd probably have the Jeep on it and stuff because it means something to him and he's about his Jeep. And then and like the date and things like that. And then if a goal's scored, the goal scorer keeps it, doesn't he? I think
so.
Yeah, the goal scorer keeps the ball. If there's no goal scored, then the turn-upper gets it.
Yeah, and I think
and they repaint it because the paint comes off like within 5 minutes, apparently.
Yeah, it's a big deal to score a goal in this thing as well.
Yeah.
It's like you're probably now known all throughout the town as someone who scored a goal.
And it must be like, again, it seemed to be, I don't know whether they like nominate you as the goal scorer as the game progresses and you're like, he's smashed it, let him score the goal, or if it's already predetermined that you're going to be the goal scorer because you're like some other
I don't know how they decided because there was about 50 blokes jumping in that river who all could have held the ball.
Yeah, anyone could have done it.
Yeah,
and it was like, it wasn't like a fight to try and be like, no, I want to, hogging it to be the goal scorer. Yeah. Because that could easily happen, couldn't it, really? And then you'd be infighting to score the goal.
Yeah.
Which seems counterintuitive.
But yeah, so they don't know exactly how old the games are. 1667 is the oldest, but I read somewhere that they believe it could be over 900 years old, like go back to 1000 and something, I guess.
Imagine what it must have been like then. I wonder how many, like, two small towns, it could have been like a couple of hundred people in each.
Yeah, well, I think it's just one town and just either side of the river, right? So,
and I guess there'd be there'd be no shit, like there probably weren't as many fences. There definitely wasn't barbed wire.
Yeah, but then also no roads either.
No roads, yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole thing, true, the whole thing would have been fields, but it would have been like much more open of a direct thing, I guess.
It probably would have only been like 20, 30 guys from each side. Or
shorter game because they probably just had a lot more breakaway and running and more of like a rugby type
probably more goals
scenario, more goals.
Yeah.
Probably more like fucking brutality then in that case.
Violence,
because there's more calls for like when you're just scrumming, it's kind of just scrumming, isn't it really? But if there's like running around and that, there's more calls for someone to get cunted to the floor and I imagine that it was slightly, 900 years ago, slightly less morals and worries about.
Well, the only rule is don't kill anyone. Yeah, it doesn't say you can't hit anyone.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the sort of rule that comes out after someone kills someone, like and then they go, actually, lads, come on, no killing in this. This is like,
taking it too far.
Yeah, we have some time off from killing for this event.
Yeah, and at the very beginning, after the first turn up, it took about 45 minutes just for the ball to get away from the car park where the first turn up is. So they throw the ball up in the air. Everyone goes for it, and it just got wedged against this wall. And there was this wall that took you into like a little residential car park.
Yeah.
And there were people climbing on top of the walls. There were people pushing against the wall. There were people trying to get the ball over the wall, and the wall was swaying.
It was fucking going, wasn't it?
I thought that wall was going to tip over. Yeah. And like the wall was cracking as well. Like you could see, because one of the stewards was like, "Get off, the wall's cracking." It
was an old wall as well, wasn't it? It wasn't like a...
No, it was not fresh.
Yeah.
And, you could see this big long crack going down the corner of it. And I thought that wall was going to tip.
And it was a big wall, wasn't it, as well? It wasn't like...
Yeah, like 8 feet
big
tall,
enough that to fuck some people up if that wall came down and landed on some people,
Yeah.
You wouldn't have been able to get out of the way. There's no getting out of the way of that, was there? Like...
Yeah. And there were some fights in that car park as well. There was... People were standing on these wheelie bins trying to like lift people up to get the ball over the wall and over the other side. And people obviously just pulling them down. People are pulling people off of the wheelie bins, and obviously everyone's falling. And I guess that just triggers people, gets pissed off. And there was a couple of guys just going, "Come on, you cunt!" And just fucking like laying into people. Like I just saw, I could just see hands coming up and like trying to grab people. And then he would obviously just not be happy with someone grabbing him like that, so he just fucking swings a fist in there and just swinging.
Well, the guy from the bin was like...
there was two of them. It was two older guys, probably like 40 or so. And just like they were just swinging fists in the crowd. How do you know who's on your team? Who's not? Like, again, like, I imagine if you go back hundreds of years, everyone in the town knows each other, right? Every family knows everyone. They know what side of the river they live on. They're upwards or downwards. And you'd be able to look and know. But they don't wear colours. Like, they don't wear...
It's just any old random jersey, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I guess you just got to like assume, or like, I'm sure you know a lot of people, but you can't know everyone.
Yeah, like I said, there was a point when we caught up to it on the way back and kind of got caught in it by accident. I see one of the blokes like there seems to be some blokes that are almost like the captain or something. They're at least directing it a bit, and they're going downwards, right, to the right, and they're sort of grabbing the lads and like shoving them in. And he was standing there. There's one guy doing that, and this lad ran round and he's like, "Upward." And the guy's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, get in there then." Like, shoved him in. And I was like on the skirts. I was thinking, I am not an upward, nor a downward, sir. I am a mere podcaster. And I got that's when I got wedged in. There was like a sort of shop that was selling coffee and stuff. And one of the lads went over and he was like, "You might want to move that." Like, she had like coffee and shit out, sugar and stuff out. So she moved it that way. And then I was sort of stood there, I was thinking, like naively thinking, like, well, if I just like stand back a little, it will just, roll around. But it didn't. It just wedged into me. And then you're like, and then like proper squashed in. And then there's like a window that they're all sort of pushing up against. They go, "Mind the window, lads, mind the window." And then I saw the window like open. So someone in there just went and opened it to relieve the pressure. And then I was just fully wedged in. There's like a sign then. There was like this metal thing sticking out like by my head there. That I was thinking, this isn't great. And I get my neck a bit like metalled. And it is, like I say, like one of them like caught my eye. And I wonder if they just thought, like, just give me a look, like, yeah, you weren't going to be in this, were you? But they don't give a fuck by that point, do they? Like, no. If you're in it, you're in it. It's your fault.
Yeah, similar to the Tar Barrel event we went to, a lot of the businesses, some of them capitalise on it and they'll be, selling coffee out the window and shit like that. But a lot of them just balled up their windows, like especially like the big businesses, like Co-op was all boarded up.
Yeah.
Boots is boarded up.
It was mainly really pubs capitalising, wasn't it? Pubs in a few places.
Yeah.
And then the coffee places, the rest were shuttered up.
Yeah, especially all the ones that are near the turn-up spot. Like they know that
they were
there's a chance it could go that way.
Yeah.
But it seems to always head towards the river. Seems to be the...
Yeah, that seems to be the crack.
Yeah.
More streety if it was going towards Downlands though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but...
see what happens today.
Keep your eye out. Yeah, we don't know when the video... So, obviously, we're here filming it for a video for the Curios News channel.
Subscribe if you haven't already.
Subscribe to Curios News. you know, if you haven't gone there, that's where all the best stuff is. This is just a load of shit. This is just a pass the time. But Curios News, that's where we got our tar barrel video, interviews, and this new video as well, the Shrovetide Football. So I don't know whether I've edited it by now. So either there's going to be a link in the description to the Shrovetide video, or there's going to be a link to the channel. Subscribe there, and then the video will be soon.
Imminent, yeah.
But hopefully I would have done it.
Yeah, you've done it. You did it.
Yeah, but we're going to go maybe find me some shoes.
Yeah.
And head in for the second day of the Ashbourne Shrovetide Football.
Up the upwards.
Down the downwards.
Is that what they say?
I don't know.
Yeah. All right, wicked. Cheers. There's a town still plays this glorious game, though 'tis but a little sport. And year by year the contest's fought from a field that's called Shawcroft. Then friend meets friend in friendly strife, the leather for to gain. And they play the game right manfully, in snow, sunshine or rain. 'Tis a good old game, deny it who can, that tries the pluck of an Englishman. 'Tis a good old game, deny it who can, that tries the pluck of an Englishman. For loyal the game shall ever be, no matter when or where, and treat the game as aught but the free is more than the boldest dare. Though the ups and downs of his checkered life may the ball still ever roll, until by fair and gallant strife we've reached the treasured goal. 'Tis a good old game, deny it who can, that tries the pluck of an Englishman. 'Tis a good old game, deny it who can, that tries the pluck of an Englishman.